All right, we got to see some Tom Brady. Not on The Masked Singer. We're seeing him in an NFL game. I wanted to see. Okay, there was all that talk about him missing preseason and missing so much training camp and all that stuff. Well, it was announced that he would come in and be able to play in a preseason game. So I figured, hey, let's see if the old man still has it. Looks fine to me. Looks like Tom Brady out there for the most part. So we'll start off with the play that you see on the screen. It's kind of one of those classic Tom Brady plays where you have deep shots, happening. So if you want to take one of those, and a deep shot might be too strong of a word, but stuff happening, at least medium range right here that he could take a chance and make one of those throws if it's open. If not, he has a couple checkdowns that he can throw to. You know how he loves his checkdowns. And right when this play begins, look at just how open that middle of the field area is. Throwing this underneath route can easily work. So of course, what are we going to see from Brady? We're going to see him, do what he always does, which is hit the guy who's the most open. Brady throws it to Tyler Johnson, who drops the football. So that's not ideal. But, if we're wondering, does Brady still have it? Which I guess is what we're going to be questioning in this video. He's doing what he typically does. It's classic Tom Brady stuff. You would like to see Tyler Johnson make the catch, I suppose. Moving on to this play, though. So what we're going to have here is it's going to be Mike Evans on Stephon Gilmore, which is kind of a fun matchup. And I would say this is the one misstep in an otherwise good Tom Brady preseason performance. This is kind of one of those, I'm not sure if it was sort of not being on the same page or what. Also, the reason why I'm starting it right here, for whatever reason, it seemed like every single play that the broadcast showed was like already after the play had started, just after the ball had snapped. That's when they were doing it. So I don't know what that was all about. But anyways, you see that Brady tries to hit Evans. Just kind of, again, throws it maybe a bit high. Maybe that's where he was trying to hit it. Maybe he thought that Evans was going to get a little bit further. Maybe Gilmore did a good job of, breaking it up, of kind of standing in Evans' way so he can't run through it. I don't know exactly what happened there, but just, again, a bit of a mix-up. Maybe it was just a communication thing, but I think you could argue that that's more damaging because he did miss so much time with a personal matter, which I'm not going to speculate on what it was, even though, I'll make a joke about the Masked Singer, but other than that, I don't really, think it's my business where he was. But if you are someone who would criticize him, this is kind of maybe the one play you could. Other than that, I thought he played well. You have this one, which is going to be a 4th and 3, and a lot of times with these plays, what is it? It's find the guy that you like the matchup with. And what's fascinating is in this man coverage play, because that's what it is, sidelines are open, so you could throw deep. Do you want to try Mike Evans here? Do you want to try, hey, you have Cameron Brate on the field. He's very good. No, what Tom Brady is going to do is he's going to try Tyler Johnson, the guy who dropped the ball earlier. And I have a couple of thoughts about this. Maybe he just genuinely likes the matchup, which is possible. Or maybe he's kind of saying, hey, all right, you dropped that pass earlier. Well, let's see what you do on a 4th down and 3. Tyler Johnson, of course, had a crucial 3rd down catch in their win over the Saints in the playoffs. Other than that, hasn't done a whole lot. But watch what he's going to do here. Watch, Brady takes the snap. You see how Tyler Johnson gets open right away, but Brady's already in the throwing motion. Like, Brady had made his decision. You talk about how Brady's the kind of guy where he tends to know what he's going to do before the ball is snapped because he's seen it all before. He's made his decision. He's throwing it. He's seeing if Tyler Johnson is going to be able to win here. And as you see, Johnson does make this catch, and he's even able to hold on after a big hit. So, hey, give credit to Tyler Johnson there, I think. Dropped the one earlier, but then came back strong and was able to make this catch. And I guess I would say give credit to Tom Brady for not just looking off of him after a drop earlier. If, he likes you, he will still give you the football. Although, again, part of it might have been it's preseason. He's trying to see how well Tyler Johnson can rebound. That's another potential factor. And finally, I wanted to show this play. This is fun. It's just kind of a, hey, as a Tampa Bay fan myself, would not mind seeing some more of these where it's going to be zone coverage, and you see the route that Julio Jones will be running. It's a route where it's essentially going to turn into a one-on-one matchup, since really only the corner that is lined up on that side of the field is really the only guy who will be covering him. There is some help underneath with the players who are covering kind of shallower, and there is a safety deep, but only one safety deep. He can't cover the whole field, so since Julio will be sort of outside the numbers, it's basically going to be a one-on-one matchup. And look at how when Brady takes a snap, the ball was in his hands when I paused the screen, because again, a bit of a late, that was the earliest frame I got with this angle. Anyways, what you see right here is that Julio Jones just got wide open. So kind of exciting. This isn't really so much a Brady play as it is a Julio Jones play, I think is fair to say. However, Brady does make the throw. Julio Jones makes the grab. So good job by him. Good job by Brady. And again, hopefully a sign of more things to come. Hopefully we will start to get to see this more in the regular season. That would be very exciting. So, tape looked solid for Brady. So yeah, that's kind of what I thought about Tom Brady and his performance. Did he look rusty? I didn't see it. It wasn't at least obvious to me. He kind of came out and looked like Tom Brady, had a typical Tom Brady drive. It went pretty well. And again, it's the preseason, so there's only so much you can say about it. But, I do think it's fair to say that, like, we have seen it happen at times where guys don't practice or, are suspended so they can't practice for a little bit. And then when we see them, they're missing throws left and right and, not on the same page. If anybody, even like some backups that finally get first team reps, they can have that issue. One thing is that for Brady, he's worked with most of these people before, like with the exception of Julio Jones. It's largely the same group. So that's probably, part of one of the things that I'm sure helps him. But another thing that I'm sure helps him is simply just the fact that he's Tom Brady and he's really good at this stuff and he knows how guys operate. So he's kind of, my mindset on this whole thing about everyone saying, oh, Brady's taking all this time off. My thing is like, listen, Brady can take as long as he wants to take off. He can, if he wants to say, you know what, as long as he's going to play in the regular season and play in the postseason, and even if he wanted to take off like week 1 or week 2, I'd be okay with it. Like whatever he wants to do, as long as you're not retired and as long as you're playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I am happy. I have no issue with it. And that's kind of my mindset. And the reality is, I think it looks fine. And that's what we think, right? That's what we were expecting. I mean, the reality is, like, they won a Super Bowl without a preseason and during the COVID, pandemic, when he had an entire new playbook to run and entire new players. Now, it started off slow, and maybe that's an issue. So, like, obviously having, more reps helps. That's why he was out there this game. But I just thought it would be an interesting video, kind of breaking down and sort of talking about, just what did we see? I was interested in seeing how he was going to play. Was he going to come in and look rusty? Was he going to come in and just look awesome? I don't think either one really was the case, but for Brady, he also is someone who it's rare that one drive he looks fantastic. It happens, but usually in one drive he just looks sort of methodical and makes a lot of smart decisions instead of making a lot of impressive throws. That's kind of the thing about Brady. So there was really a small chance he was going to come out and actually just look awesome, but he looked solid. He looked like Tom Brady, and that's pretty good. So that's kind of what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.